Well, hello there, folks, and a very warm welcome back to What's for Tea and our wee archive recipe for this week. And I do hope that I find you all very well, and thanks for coming over. So I've got a traditional spotted dick for you, and I will put the ingredients on the screen and down below. So let me hand you over to me from 3 years ago. I hope you enjoy this one. It's traditional spotted dick, and it is just a steamed sponge pudding with some raisins in, and it's a very light flavour, and it's deceptively light in texture as well. I'm going to be using suet because that's the most traditional, but if you can't find suet, because I know that it's a nightmare to find in other parts of the world, you can use something like lard or even butter, but if you can get suet, then definitely use that. So I'm just going to run you through the ingredients that I've got here, and all of the quantities and everything that I use will also be underneath in the description box if you want to go and check that out. So I've got some suet, some raisins, some milk and some sugar, some flour and some lemon zest as well. And this is the suet here, just for those that are interested. But like I said, if you can't find it, don't worry, you can use lard, or at a push, obviously you can use butter, because suet is just a fat at the end of the day. It's going to give you the fat element in this. So use lard or butter if you can't get suet. And you're also going to need a pudding bowl, so you can use a glass one, a plastic one. I'm using a glass one. So to a big bowl, you want to pop in some self-raising flour, and then followed by your suet or whatever fat you're deciding to use. Just make sure it's in wee bits, and then your sugar, and then your sultanas or your raisins or your currants, whatever you want to use, and then the zest from a lemon. Now mine's is more like the pith, because I couldn't find my grater, so I just slice mine very finely. And to that, add your milk. Now you might need to add more milk. You want to stir this until you get a nice sticky mess. Now, if it's looking too dry, just add in another wee bit of milk, because it should be looking like this, and there should be nothing left in the bottom of your bowl, any dry flour or anything. So just give it a good mix together until it's all completely come together and looking something like this. Now, if you remember, grease your bowl. I forgot. It didn't matter in the end, but do grease your bowl, because that's going to ensure that your pudding doesn't stick at the end when you try and get it out. Like I said, I completely forgot, and I didn't remember until it was steaming away, but I decided to chance it, and it was absolutely fine. On top of this, you want to pop some grease-proof non-stick paper. Pop a wee pleat in the top to give it room to expand, because it will expand a wee bit. And then some foil on top. Just make sure it's nice and tight, and you won't need to add any string or anything. Or if, like me, you forgot to get string, you can use some cling film. So just pop your bowl onto the middle of some cling film, gather up the edges and just twist it around a few times. Really easy, and that'll give you a wee handle so that you can get it out of your water or your hot pan at the end, because this bowl is going to be very hot. So you do want some kind of handle on there. Or if you're brave and you don't want to use a handle, you can use, some oven gloves or something. But I would recommend doing something like this if, like me, you forgot to get string. So go over to your cooker, and you want a really large pan, and in the bottom of your pan put a saucer or something. I've just used the top of a casserole dish, just so that your pudding isn't directly, sitting in the bottom of your pan. Put a couple of inches of boiling water in the bottom and just let this steam away for a couple of hours. Just let it simmer. You don't want your temperature too high, just in a very low, gentle simmer for a couple of hours. And this was me 2 hours later, and as you can see, it has expanded a good bit. Yeah, just giving a wee poke there just to let you see. So you just want to grab your handle, give it maybe a minute or so, because this is still going to be warm. But when you're happy, lift it out of your water and get it over to your work surface. And I would give this again a couple of minutes just to cool down, and wow, look at that, it's expanded beautifully. Now, I was looking at this at the time and I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to get this out the bowl, because I thought it had completely stuck, but no, it was absolutely fine. I just gave it a wee sort of run round with a knife, along the edge, and it did slip out quite easily. But just let this sit for a couple of minutes to let the suction work, and it should just release quite easily like this. And I was really happy with this. And again, just let it cool down for a few minutes, but this is best served warm. Or if you're going to have it the next day, you know, do heat it up again before you have it. And we would typically have this with some custard, or even cold, you know, with a wee cup of tea or coffee. And it is absolutely delicious. And don't let it be, you know, don't let it fool you, because it does look quite heavy and stodgy. It is a wee bit stodgy because of the suet, but it's much lighter than you might imagine. And I will let you just have a wee look inside and see what it's like. But yeah, highly recommended you give that one a wee go, because like I said, it's not, you know, it's not difficult to make. The ingredients are very affordable, and it's just perfect for these cold winter nights. So yeah, thank you very much for popping over just to check out. So that was the spotted dick. So do let me know what you thought of that one. I know we're not obviously in the winter months anymore, but it's still nice, you know, cold with a wee cup of tea or coffee. Well worth doing and very easy. So thank you once again for stopping by and watching. A huge thank you to the supporters of the channel over on my Patreon page, to the channel members here on YouTube, for you all for watching, leaving your lovely comments, those that have bought me a coffee using the Buy Me a Coffee link, and those that have left me a super thanks donation for the channel as well. And I will catch up with you during the week for another wee video or 3 back here on What's for Tea. So take care and bye for now. Bye now.